All right, we left off last time playing Iran, which is the biggest focus tree that came out of the recent update for Millennium Dawn. The other huge one is Azerbaijan. We're going to be playing through Iran's tree. We will go a different government at some point. Obviously, I know this is kind of a bit of a complicated one given everything going on in Iran. So it'll be make very clear to start off with. Obviously, I have no support for the current Iranian government and really hope they get overthrown. That being said, the main thing I wanted to do with this game is do a playthrough of the focus tree, which is really well made and interesting, and provide the chance to really do like a kind of soft power Iran, wherein we utilize more things like focuses, spy networks, and things like that to destabilize our enemies and gain a degree of control over the Middle East. Millennium Dawn, much like HOI4, has the problem where the game can get a little bit empty and boring. That's why I do so much, for example, multiplayer and stuff like that. We've done a lot of like intelligence network stuff. We have fully built up a network in Saudi Arabia, and we've been using it to just maximize corruption in their government, which has been pretty effective. We've gotten up to 8. We want to get it all the way up to 10. Obviously, they're our biggest rival in the Middle East. We probably hate the Americans and the Israelis more. Tough to say, but we have a very bad relationship with Saudi, obviously. So we're going to do our best to attempt to destabilize them and become the more dominant actor in the region. So we'll see how this goes. Build up some more industry in the north. We'll just keep going with the civilian industry. Iran has a lot of building slots, actually. So there's a lot of building slots that we can do here. Okay, we're getting a backdoor on Iraq. We've done all of our missions too. So in 56 days, we'll hopefully increase corruption again in Saudi Arabia. Iranian Armenian gas line. One of the initiatives of the construction of the gas pipeline was Russia, in connection with the impossibility of guaranteeing Armenia the stability of gas supplies to the republic through Georgia. Gas is supplied to Megri via the Kengam Kum Kazvin Tabriz gas pipeline from the oil and gas province near Asli, on the shelf of the Persian Gulf. Its solemn opening took place in the presence of the president of Armenia, Robert Kokorin, and Iran's Mohammad Ahmadinejad immediately after the opening. The possibility of building a second string of pipelines is still possible. Decommissioned old textbooks. The textbooks currently in use come from the era prior to the adoption of Western models of education, and as such includes a lot of propaganda and censorship. These textbooks need to be disposed of and new ones created if we are to continue the trend of progress. We basically have to like pull out all of the religious anti-science shit in our science textbooks so that we can actually educate our people, which is brutal and hard to do. So let's go ahead and do it at Everton. We're just basically constantly sending our spies to lower or increase rather corruption in Saudi Arabia. It's giving a chance for our spy network to get some experience too. Our first spy, Sahid Shahriari, has been here since day one, and he's gotten to be very competent at what he does. He's a web weaver, so he's fantastic. The higher the level you get them, the more effective they are. So at some point, we're going to have a bunch of really, really advanced spies. We are going to use the spy network when it gets experienced enough to also destabilize big countries later on, like certain ones that are probably very clear. It starts with an A and ends with a bald eagle. Education Regulations Committee. The Education Regulations Committee is the government's organization that regulates the content by which put within books. Now that we have abolished the censorship of material, this committee has lost its purpose and thus needs to be dissolved, although we will face considerable backlash from the more conservative elements of our government. That's completely fine. We are attempting to actually do some reforms, so there will definitely be backlash from the hardliners. All right, we're finishing counterintelligence. I want all these levels because I don't know if that's the case, but I would assume if we go after other countries with our spy network, they'll probably target us. I could be wrong about that. And I'm sure that devs have coded Saudi Arabia to hate us, probably America too, so I'm sure we will get a lot of spies in our country. The Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, is a set of 17 global points for goals for 169 specific areas developed by the UN during a deliberative process involving its 193 member states in September 2015. As one of the members of the United Nations, we agreed to carry out the agenda, and now we will act on our word. That's not true. No one actually cares about the development goals except the UN. We are currently having a current problem of increased automobile demand. Iran has ranked first in the largest automobile industry in Asia, and the increase of highways connected cities have made the wants of cars straining our industry. We need to scout the market to search for cars and sell them at an increased price for funds, and it will at least look like we're doing something about this. It'll make our middle level businessmen like us, and we'll get 32 billion, which, given I do want to get our debt down, would be fantastic. Let's go ahead and also apply for membership in the SCO. We're becoming very Eastern aligned. We have a good relationship with China. We want to obviously secure more trade and investments with China, so let's go ahead and apply for full membership status. Let's go ahead and send the corruption campaign to Saudi and get the underway. We can also go ahead and start to work on, I think I've been researching frigates. Yes, we have a 1995 frigate right now. Let's make this actually viable. For the Darius class frigates. And we will produce these. Yeah, we're actually going Western right now. That makes sense. We've opened up our economy to the world. We're trading really heavily with Europe and Western countries. And we've completely revamped our education to be more scientifically focused and actually about, you know, the subject matter, not religion. So it's resulted in a large portion of our population currently becoming more westernized. Following a gradual process of integration, Saeed Ali Hosseini Khamenei today announced that the country's membership of the SCO had happened. Hopefully observers have portrayed this development as a further progression of regional economic and political cooperation with the Eurasian continent, while more pessimistic analysts have lamented the growing influence of China and the threat that this poses on the existing world order. Build up civs a bit more, and then we are going to start to work on office complexes and then dockyards too as well. Long term, we're going to build up a really big navy, and we'll really start to work on our military equipment a lot later on. I don't know how aggressive we will end up going though, because if we do go Western outlook, I may play it more as like a soft power Iran. I think what we'll probably do mostly this game is puppeting of Middle Eastern countries who destabilize is what we'll do. Licenses from China. Our Eastern partners can help us a lot with their huge experience in production. This gives us trade relation, which is actually incredibly valuable. Trade relation is literally the stat that tells the AI whether or not to prioritize you for trade. One more level and we'll max out corruption in Saudi Arabia. We're destabilizing our rivals without firing a single shot. IFDA, the Iranian Food and Drug Administration, or the IFDA, is similar to the FDA for all nations. That being its mission of food quality and drug safety via regulation. This will give us more tax revenue and some more monthly population. Check standards of food production factories. It has come to our attention through the back channels that some factories may not be adhering to the standards placed by the IFDA. We must pursue these possible infractions and stop whatever malfeasance we find. This will give us health cost reduction and population tax boost, just a little bit, but that's fine. We're bringing all of our food standards up to actual quality standards, which is important. You know what happens when there aren't good food quality standards? IBRC, the Iranian Biological Resources Center, was established in 2008 under the Academic Center of Education, Culture, and Research, with its main goal being to improve the national researches for collection, preservation, and studying of biological resources. To this end, the center will attempt to be the pioneer for the development of life technology and science, life quality, and preservation of biodiversity. It's actually a noble goal. Wonderful. Did we get it? Paralyzing corruption. We have completely debilitated our enemies in Saudi Arabia with corruption. They can barely function at this point. Good. Now that we have all the corruption levels that we wanted on their country, let's go ahead and start to hit them a little bit harder. Let's go ahead and infiltrate the Navy. We have a lot of political power. Let's go ahead and lower our corruption another level. We'll lower it 2 more levels. It's been a while since we've done that. We're gonna do it in groups because just going all the way down doesn't make a lot of sense. And then we'll go for officer military schools as well. Okay, we have installed a backdoor in Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Next, we'll do Turkey. We want to basically be able to get access to all the files and systems within all of our potentially dangerous neighbors. Then we'll go after countries like the US. We'll hack the US later on. All right, we infiltrated the Navy successfully. And then we're going to steal naval blueprints because I believe they have access to really advanced stuff. We'll infiltrate the Air Force. Atomic advancement effort. Iran has previously agreed to forego the development of nuclear weapons as a signatory of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which has been in focus since 1970. However, after the overthrow of the Pahlavi government in 1979, our leaders secretly pursued this technology. In that regard, to continue this pursuance, we require nuclear technology and nuclear material. Search for uranium. It is believed that we have large reserves of uranium to use as nuclear fuel in different parts of the country, particularly in places such as Bandar Abbas, Yazid, Northern Khorasan, and Iranian Azerbaijan. We must scour every inch of ground in these provinces to find whatever uranium we can use. I didn't know Iran actually had it naturally. Nuclear reactor development. Most of our nuclear advancements came from American assistance from the 1950s and are severely outdated due to the lack of outside expertise. However, the IROST has made many advancements in the field of nuclear power, so much so that we might even be ahead in some areas. The only way to find out is by testing it ourselves, which I don't think we have. I think we had like the first 3. No, we had the first 4 actually. Damn. Expand R&D budget. With the pressure placed on the IROS by our government, it has come to our attention that they do not have the necessary funding to adequately research with up-to-date technology. Therefore, it has been proposed that IROS should receive an increased R&D budget to allow them to perform properly. Their economy is doing so bad. Beautiful. What's their debt at? They're up to a $2.4 trillion debt. Saudi Arabia is just collapsing economically. That might be due to the fact that they literally don't receive 35% of their income because of all the corruption that we gave them through spies. We're getting more development assistance from China since we're in the SCO. This gives a flat bonus, so that's very solid. Iran inaugurated its first nuclear research facility in 1967. The center consists of 11 departments to conduct research on the nuclear fuel cycle, including departments for nuclear physics, isotope production, reactor research, nuclear electronics, and fusion. This center's work has given us a method of constructing up-to-date reactors without needing foreign assistance, which are certainly will not be provided. Infrastructure for atomic projects. Our main enrichment facility in Isfahan does not have direct road access from Freeway 7, which brings unnecessary risk when we transport nuclear materials to the reactor complex. By having a dedicated road, we can circumnavigate instead of going through the city, allowing transports to be safer, easier, and quicker. Natanz nuclear facility is part of Iran's nuclear program. It is located some 20 miles from Natanz near Freeway 7 and is generally recognized as Iran's central facility for uranium enrichment. The defense of the site is of utmost importance, especially from aerial attacks. Let's see those bonuses. Israel gains imminent danger to national security. The United States gains decrease in opinion. And we get a surrender limit increase and declare war tension on us. And we lose 20 billion. We also get a nuclear reactor and a SAM site. Given we've done all of our education reforms, now we already actually maxed out on that. Healthcare we'll work on in the future, but it's not our biggest priority. Let's go for officer international education. And we're going to go down towards global interventionism as well. We'll just have to hold on to that for now. What in the AI is that? Aggressive foreign policy. Causes. Yep. There it is. Yugoslavia and Russia are invading Bosnia. We're friendly with Russia, right? Yeah, we're very friendly with Russia. We'd also be friendly with Yugoslavia, given that they're a emerging outlook country. So we're going to send volunteers. We'll send our special forces division. Outmaneuver these tank division, take that radar station off them. Complete the fuel cycle. The nuclear fuel cycle is the progression of the nuclear fuel from a series of different stages. It consists of the preparation of the fuel, steps in the service period in which the fuel is used during the reactor operation, and steps in the back end, which are necessary to safely manage, contain, and either reprocess or dispose of spent nuclear fuel. If the spent fuel is reprocessed, it is referred to as a closed fuel cycle. We've got really advanced equipment on these guys. We've got super advanced small arms equipment, which is all on our special forces because they get priority access to new equipment. So these guys should just bust down these old divisions. They've shot down a few of our casts, but we should get a lot of XP off it. The Non-Proliferation Treaty is a landmark international treaty whose objective is to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons and weapons technology, to promote cooperation in the peaceful uses of nuclear energy, and to further the goal of achieving nuclear disarmament and general complete disarmament. Iran abiding by the NPT. While our attempts to attain nuclear weapons has been just, the West has begun to put pressure upon our nation to deter any progression of adding said weapons to our arsenal. This pressure placed on us is leaving us diplomatically isolated, and our country is not prepared to face the consequences of attracting the ire of the United States. Therefore, it has been proposed that we halt our attempts and that cooperation with the West, while taking longer than developing nukes on our own, would ultimately lead us to getting what we wish for. Stability, PP, and we lose war support. Invest in Bushehr. Bushehr lies along the coastal region of the Persian Gulf coast of southwestern Iran. Due to its lack of rail connections to the interior of the country and its shallow anchorage, it has lost its position as Iran's primary port. However, it is 12 kilometers from the site of the Bushehr nuclear power plant, being built in cooperation with Russia. Perhaps we can find a new use for the city. This will cost us 20 billion. Nuclear tech's expensive. Alright, here's the next big decision. Do we compromise on the treaty or not? While the NPT has dictated that nuclear non-proliferation is a must to maintain the global order, we as a nation have the right to defend our territory by whatever means necessary. However, doing so forcefully will anger the powers that be, so we should send out a foreign minister to negotiate a compromise. While the NPT has dictated that nuclear non-proliferation is a must to maintain global order, we as a nation have the right to defend our territory by any means. even if this means forcibly carving out our own place amongst the global great powers. This may not come with a great cost. All right, are we going to be diplomatic or non-diplomatic with continuing to go down the nuclear path? That's the next question. Army of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The Islamic Republic of Iran's armed forces are the combined military forces of Iran, comprising of the Islamic Republic of Iran Army, the Guard Corps, and law enforcement. The Iranian armed forces are the largest in the Middle East. Really? In terms of active troops. All branches of the armed forces fall under the command of the General Staff of the Iranian Armed Forces. Stealing blueprints. Oh, he got forced into hiding in that last one. She did too. Man, a lot of our operatives got burned on that last one. Vaja, the Ministry of Intelligence of the Islamic Republic of Iran is the primary intelligence agency of the Islamic Republic and a member of the Iran intelligence community. It is also known as Vaja and previously as Vivek. Stability, political power, counterintelligence permanently, root out resistance permanently, intel network strength factor permanently increased. Wow, that's really good. All right, we're gonna go after Turkey next. We're not on very good terms with them, and we want to be the sole power in the Middle East, so we're going to destabilize Turkey like we did Saudi. We're going to build up their corruption dramatically. They are at 5 right now. We're going to get that up to 10. Yep. War's over. Who puppeted them? Yugoslavia puppeted them. They're run by a writer now. A left-wing radical writer. Oh boy, emerging outlook is expanding across the globe. All we have to do our focuses to complete these. We can do nuclear energy, I think, though. Yeah, we can. Free fuel. Information and Security University. Well, we have had Vaja for the longest time. We haven't had a school to train operatives in. Relying solely on and finding them however we could, just make a school for ourselves and have it so hidden that no one could know it exists. We'll get an agency slot for that. Sepa Ibn Zaman. Zeman Corp, or SEPA, which means Corp, in our agency's brand new group of elite forces trained in the art of subversion, intelligence gathering, and infiltration. They can do pretty much anything spy related besides getting caught. While traditional intelligence gathering is quite important in a world where technology has gained a greater importance and entire secret archives are kept digitally, it would be wise to develop a group of hackers of our own to defend our dirty secrets. We actually have manpower, so let's deploy some of our planes here. So currently we have an agent captured in Turkey and an agent captured in Saudi Arabia. So we'll have to do something about that. So I think next we're going to probably work, we're going really obviously more like technocratic Iran, which is actually not impossible. Ayatollah is not a good man, but he is definitely to a degree technology leaning. Is that the right way to put it? He definitely doesn't disrespect technology. So I think building a satellite network might be the next thing we're going to really go for. Oh, nice. We got into an economic boom for free. Military department. We'll go for economic intelligence as well, or civilian intelligence rather. At some point, we do want to ferment potentially a war of Iraq as well. I'm not in any rush to get there, but that will probably be our first step. Ensuring that our capital's population is aligned with our ideals is important enough toward the construction of a news outlet that can teach the populace how to identify foreign spies, aka a propaganda network. Always important for any dictatorial state. The SCO is giving us some developmental assistance, probably with the SCO bank. Having our own news outlet within Saudi Arabia will provide useful in finding individuals that share the same ideas as us. Perhaps we can even find foreign recruits like this. We already have a Saudi double agent, unless he died. Did he die? We actually lost a few agents recently. We got Sahid back. He's been captured twice now by the Saudis. We keep giving him plastic surgery and sending him back. Okay, we have successfully got back both of our spies now, and we've recruited another. I think someone actually might have died. I forget who it was. It's still one of our big spies. Our two really good ones are obviously Sahid and then Rizé. I'm saying her name wrong, but there are really good ones. So we still got them, which is what matters. So let's work on a corruption campaign in Turkey. Now that we have been able to establish a foothold in Saudi Arabia, we can send the IRGC to do covert activities in Qatif. It'll reduce their stability, I think permanently. We permanently gain intelligence on them. It increases, here's the fun one. ARAMCO under fire. Saudi Arabia's main oil company, the source of all their revenue. What do you think would happen if it all went up in smoke? We are below $500 billion in debt now as well. All right, what happens with that? We have a mission for it now. Today's, sabotage ARAMCO. We use our influence in Yemen and Arabia to deal a severe blow to the Saudi economy. Don't mind if I do. Let's go ahead and sabotage ARAMCO. It's risky. We might actually not succeed with this, but it's worth a try. Aha! We succeeded! Today, Saudi Arabia's national oil company Aramco was set on fire in an attack causing huge damage to Saudi Arabia's economy and resources. So media says these attacks were probably carried out with the support of Iran. There's no evidence to support that at all. I don't know where that's coming from. That's bullshit. They just hate us because they hate us. That's all that is. But there's no evidence. So cool. We blew up Aramco successfully, or part of it, I guess, because Aramco is massive. I mean, it's kind of ridiculously big. So we have successfully blown up a large contingent. I would assume sabotaging Aramco would come in the form, most likely, of either probably hitting their headquarters in Riyadh, which is a massive building, or probably hitting like their fuel refining facilities, which are also in Riyadh. I think along the coastline for like exporting, I think. But anyway, so we blew up large contingents of that and destabilized Saudi. At this point, we have severely hampered Saudi Arabia by blowing up and hurting large portions of their primary source of income, obviously being their oil wealth. And we have riddled their country with paralyzing corruption, resulting in the stagnation period and just a complete immobilization of their economy. We fucked them up pretty good, and they're our main rivals, which we've wanted to do. So they're basically out of the picture right now. Turkey, we are slowly getting their corruption level up. It's up to 6 right now, and we're going to continue to do so. After we've destabilized Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey, our next major goal is going to be the infiltration of America, destabilizing America from inside, and obviously stealing their blueprints and stealing their technologies. So that's our major goals. What I really want to do is just destabilize a lot of our enemies, create a lot of chaos. We're going to go for Kissinger diplomacy, which is just so chaos everywhere and operate in it. So we want to basically make a lot of these countries destabilize, and then once we've destabilized them enough, build up our own technology enough, prepared our own economy, we're going to become much stronger and go into some wars in the Middle East.